Ugh. Time to start looking for a job again. Better get the right attitude first. What can you do for me? No, 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 no. Wait. What can I do for you? If you do good by others, karma reciprocates. May 2004. I left Maryland. I was tired of doing the same old thing all my life. I'd always wanted to travel, but I wasn't sure if I'd be able to have the money. So I decided just to up and do it. 25, 30 grand in debt. I just sold my truck, traded in on a car so I could go from like 18 miles a gallon to 30 and headed across the country. Kept going until I hit Oregon on the other coast. Great. Now I have less than $600 to my name, and I better figure something out really fast. Through labor services and other temporary things, I had built myself up and ended up having to live out of my car for what turned out to be a few years to break even and knock that debt off. But, but during my first year in Oregon, there, one thing I was in Bend in the center of the state, which was a really prolific area for construction at the time. So it wasn't that hard to find work, and minimum wage was also higher than almost any other state. One thing I found though is some of the other transients my fellow transients, we're talking about this promised land in southern Arizona. See, if you've never been to Central Oregon, it's kind of like upstate New York. It is freaking cold in the winter, and a lot of things grind to a halt, and including employment for the most part. But around December or early January in southern Arizona, they were supposed to kick off this crazy flea market type environment with thousands of vendors, and you literally just show up. You can walk around and find jobs like that. And there are places everywhere to just camp out for free. They made it sound like you could just almost go to anybody's yard and just make it happen. If not, there's tons of desert area around. I'd already gotten used to Central Oregon and the forest and BLM areas, so going to BLM area in the desert, okay, I have a little experience here. I know what to expect. Except warmer weather and there's work. Sounded too good to be true. So after I finished in about September in Oregon, it's already starting to snow up by Mount Bachelor by that point. Yeah, time to get out of Dodge. Dawdled on my way down and ended up in Yuma, Arizona, off the Mexico border almost. And got a job there for October, November. And about mid December, I shot up and between then and Christmas to see what was going on with this little town of Quartzsite. People had warned me if you get there before then, there won't be anybody there, which is pretty much true. So after a day or so of walking around, I did find this one guy I could get with, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm setting up this big area here. Have all these canopies and tables and stacks of product, and yeah, we'll need a lot of help for a couple of days." Awesome. Okay. So I helped him set up, and it was on a weekend. My job in Yuma was like I only work 5 days a week, so no problem. And after I get him set up, he's like, "Well, I got enough people to run it for now, but I'm opening a second booth in 2 weeks, and for that one, I should be able to employ you full time for like a month." And I'm like, "Okay, that's awesome. I can go down. I can put in my 2 week notice down at my other job. I'm only making 7 an hour there anyway." Whereas you're gonna give me 10, it's like, hey, all right. Go down and I'm working for an electrical contractor, and it's like, hey, putting in my 2 weeks. I got a thing. It's all good. Go back up and we do the setup, and it's like, shoot, while you were gone, they hired a different guy. It's like, oh shit. So I came all the way up here and there's no work for you. I was like, oh man, I was really counting on that. Unfortunately, just as most people are already set up for the second show at this point, I did manage to find a little bit of work around, but by like the third day, I mean, pretty much everybody was set up. I mean, these were only like 2 3 week shows. So I was kind of like, huh. His dad also had his own booth, and just getting kind of bored. After wandering around, if I couldn't find anything, I'd just kind of go back and, like, I don't know, play around at his dad's booth. He wasn't actually working there or anything. He had a guy with him. Just because I had nothing to do, I'd start, stocking stuff and doing other, maybe helping customers, whatever. It was just, I mean, you get bored, you do stuff like that, or I do. So that's how I got in with a lot of, Habitat for Humanity and other stuff. I do a lot of volunteer work, just to keep busy. So what's the difference if you're doing it in an employment area? Yeah, really. And actually, it turned out the guy I was working for, Al, this guy's dad, was not very good. And Al was like, hey, after like a week or so, it's like, man, you keep coming back every day. You're like working for free, harder than the guy I'm paying. It's, do you want a job? I'd be happy to replace him with you. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's freaking awesome, yeah. Gives me income and saves me having to keep wandering around looking for jobs, which don't seem to be available for maybe another week or so anyway. And so, yeah, I finished out the season the last, like, whatever, 3 or 4 weeks with Al, and that was really cool. And then got to help his son shut down the main booth. It was that accountability that just really, I think, impressed him. Just the fact that I kept showing up and doing stuff and working hard, even though technically I didn't even work there. I found that if you can show a good work ethic, and people come to realize that you're worth something, and you go into the situation with that proper mentality, you have the potential to climb up the ladder. People will see you, they'll see what you can do, and they'll be like, hey, you're all right. And you'll get chances, and doors will open that weren't there before. Will definitely increase your chance of success. The next year I showed up, I had a job. Actually, Al, that first year I worked for him, that was his last year working. So I went to work for his son and ended up working there. So it gave me 6 7 weeks of work for almost another, I think, 11 12 years after that. So never throw something away. Get that entitled feeling of, oh, I need this and this to do this. I'm not paid enough to do that. If you just jump in, try something, and you're willing to throw in your time just for free, even just to show somebody, to prove that you can do it, you're willing to do it, and you have the ability to do it, you can go a lot farther in life.